Hello, guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at a simple arrangement of the song River Flows in You by Yurima. You might not recognize the title, but once you start playing it, I'm sure you'll probably recognize it. So let's get into it. All right, so at the very start, you'll see it's got the numbers under it, which isn't on all sheet music, but this will help us with our fingering. So if you recall, whenever you're fingering with piano, your thumb is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's the same on your left hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we start with the first couple measures. As you can see, there's no sharps or flats in here yet, so there's nothing to worry about here. And there's numbers to help you. We're starting off with C and D, and we're just going back and forth with our 4 and 5, so that would be 4 and 5. And then they're wanting us, in our left hand, they're going to want us to do an A, and it's going to be with our 3. So, and then you'll look also for our next measure, we're going to be using our 5 to play an F, and we're going to be having a similar pattern, except this time we're going to have variation. We're going to dip down, going from C down to a G, back up to C, and then finally coming to rest on an F. So here's what it's going to sound like together. This is what it's going to sound like once you get it together. So that takes us through the first two measures, and you'll notice your third measure has a tied quarter, or not tied quarter note, a tied whole note. So you carry over that last F, and you'll just continue holding it down. And then you'll notice in your left hand, you're going to have a pickup, and that one is going from, and that one's going to go from a C to an E before jumping right back down to an A in our measure 4. And you'll notice in measure 4, our pattern that we had in the first two measures is going to continue on all the way, including when you look at measure 6, you have a similar pickup that occurred in measure 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and connect all of these 6 measures together, and it's going to sound like this. This is what it's going to sound like all together. Then you're going to have that final pickup. Then you're going to hit with your A and your C together. And then we'll keep going from there. So covering after that pickup in measure 6, we're going to go down to measure 7. So you'll want to take note of that repeat bar. This is where we're going to have some alternation between the two hands. We're going to go between having our C and our B in our right hand, and then we're going to alternate. We're going to have similar to what we saw in measures 3 and 6. You're going to have the C and E returning. However, instead of going up, this time you're returning down, and it's going to be sandwiched in between 2 sets of eighth notes. So it's going to sound like this. And that sort of rocking back and forth motion is going to be something that occurs quite often in this piece. Now, looking on to measure 8, you'll notice we're using a lot of the same notes and motifs. They're just broken up a little bit more that we used beforehand. So if we'll take a look at our bass clef, we're opening up with a F, jumping up to a C, and then immediately we're going to go up into our right hand with a G up to a C as well. Or not as well. F to C in your bass clef, G to C in your treble clef. And then you're going to come back down, and you're going to have that same pattern of F to C in your left hand, and then you're going to go down to a B to an F. G to an F before continuing on. So we're going to start from this pickup off on measure 7, and we're going to try and get through measures 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so leading off with this pickup, you're going to hit this A with this incoming C. Then you're going to have this E filling in. Then you're going to hop back to your D and A. Then you're going to have, wow, now you're reaching down to a G and C. Then you're going to have this one, you're reaching down to a G as well. And then you're going to have the same pattern. And then you're going to have, and that gets you through measure 9. So going from the beginning, we're going to have this sort of slowed down intro before picking up. So starting on A and E in your right hand. Now here comes a set of 4 quarter notes, which you're going to play a little slower, and those are going to consist of an E, F, G, back down to E, like this. Or back down in where we are playing. And then you'll notice on the sheet music we're finishing off with a dotted half note down in D, which is here. So all together you have so taking that from the pickup at measure 6, we have and then we're going to have a C in your left hand, but it's going to be this one down here. So then we're going to repeat this C with this E. Then we're going to come back to a G up here, so this G, and it's going to meet with this D. So all together we've got that has a rather nice sound to it. Continuing on from measure 10, you'll notice you have a very similar pickup to what we saw in the earlier measures. They're simply, it's a continuation of your pattern. It is going to be slightly different than what you're expecting, though. So going from the next half of this measure, you'll notice you have a difference where you have C, D, C. Then you're going to keep with that C. You're going to gradually bring it up until you get to measure 13, where you're going to switch back into your original pattern. So you're going to have C, B, C, like this. Then you're going to have another C, which brings you up to here. Then you're going to go from this E and have the same pattern. Then you're going to come back down to this C. Then you're going to walk down from here. Now your left hand for this section is going to be moving around quite a bit more. We're going to start down in this A. Then we're going to come up to this E. Then we're going to drop down to this F. Come back up to this C that we were on originally. Then we're going to use this C to get back up to this G. So, running through that from the beginning, A, C, A, E, F, C, C, G. And then down in measure 14, we're going to finish on a G and an F in your left hand. And then we're going to finish on, in measure 14, that last note, that last B. So going from that break, we have and then we will keep going with the rest of that when I see you in class tomorrow.